and welcome back to Trees and Turtles. My name's Imogen and this video is 10 things you need to know about living alone. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that. Give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and let's get started. So, I currently live in my own apartment. I am 22, I just moved in, if you didn't already know, and this is the first time I have lived alone. So, growing up, obviously, I lived with my family because I was a child. And when I was 19, nearly 20, I moved away to Durham for university. So at that point I lived in college for a year and then I lived in a shared house. And at no point did I ever live by myself. Okay, now I live by myself and it's been a big ambition of mine for a long time and it's something that I really enjoy and it's something that's really cool. But there are a lot of things that you need to that kind of go into it, and I wanted to make a video about it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is money, and I know it's boring and I know people don't like to talk about it, but financial independence is important if you want to live alone. Before I moved into my first flat, I saved for a deposit and I secured a grad job contract. Those were two things that I knew I absolutely 100% had to do. I also made sure that I had a high credit score. I don't think this is as important in the UK as it is in the States, but it's still really helpful. Basically, set yourself up for success by demonstrating as far as possible that you're a financially responsible and stable individual. Because that's what landlords like, that's what estate agents want to see. It's boring, but that's how it is. Okay, that's money. Let's talk about number 2, which is the tenancy. If you're a homeowner, skip this section, and if you're a homeowner at 22, then please tell me your secrets in the comments. But for most of you living alone in your 20s, I imagine you're renting, as I am. It's really important to find a good estate agent, so read the reviews in detail. When you're looking for a tenancy, it's important to check out properties from multiple agents, and you are allowed to put in applications for multiple properties after viewing, okay? So I applied for about 5 apartments. That I had like 5 that I thought I could see myself living in, and then I chose the best one which I was accepted for. I got accepted for this one pretty quickly, so I just chose it because I viewed this property and I like absolutely fell in love with it. I thought this is where I want to live, so I was very lucky that they read my application and they were like, yeah, come and live here. But you're allowed to view properties with multiple agents and put in multiple applications, okay? And you absolutely should. I think it's really good to shop around. When the tenancy agreement comes through, read it in detail. Like, I cannot emphasize this enough. It's a really important legal document and you need to know exactly what you're agreeing to, because you're signing this thing and mine was like 40 plus pages, okay? So yeah, it's tedious to read through, but you need to read it. Like, that is not negotiable, okay? In detail, you need to read every single line, make sure you understand it. If there's something you don't understand, you need to ask. Either ask the estate agents, or ask someone else you know to read it over and like explain stuff. If you can, just have someone else check it over in general, even if you understand it all. My dad checked mine. I sent him my agreement and I said, does this all look cool to you? And he was like, yeah. So, thanks, Dad. Alright, number 3. Safety, okay? I obviously am a single woman in my 20s, living alone. Single as in, yeah, like, I'm living alone. So it's really important that you consider safety. Like, even if you're a big, buff guy, okay, danger can occur to anyone. So safety, when you're looking for a place, consider safety factors, okay? So for example, I knew I wanted to avoid having a ground floor flat. Ground floor flats give me the creeps. I mean, obviously, if you're living in a ground floor flat, like one of my friends, I don't mind visiting them, but I don't want to live in one, because I have a fear of break-ins, and I wanted a flat with like multiple layers of physical safety measures, which my current flat does have. Like, there are several layers to my flat's security, and that was something that hugely sold me on this property. I mean, obviously, loads of other stuff about this house sold me on it, but anyway, safety was such a crucial factor, and you should also consider it. I also live in a flat with a lot of neighbours close by, so if anything bad were to happen, I could easily call for help. And I think these are some things that you should consider as well. Obviously, it's up to you to make your own like list of safety criteria, but those are maybe some common ones that it's important to think about. Right, number 4, let's talk furnished versus unfurnished. Furnished flats obviously mean you don't have to decorate or spend money on furnishings, but they also mean that the space is kind of less easy to personalise. Unfurnished places may have slightly lower monthly rent because they don't like come with like already furnished space, but you do have to spend money furnishing the place, which is really more expensive than you think. Overall though, I do prefer unfurnished apartments. As you can probably guess, my apartment was unfurnished, and I really wanted to like move in and have it be a blank slate, and it was absolutely a blank slate. And I've personalised the space as much as I wanted to. I mean, obviously there's more that I want to do, but like I have felt that I've had the space to make it my own, if that makes sense. But it kind of depends on what your goals are. Maybe you're not as big into home personalisation as I am, so maybe you just don't want the hassle. Which would be entirely valid because I spent too much money on this house. But anyway, that's furnished versus unfurnished. Right, number 5, let's talk bills. This is boring again, but unless you have a smart meter, then you need to do meter readings for energy, typically gas and electricity, although my apartment's fully electric, so it's just 1 meter reading. The agency or landlord should provide you with information on this, information on where the meter is and how to read it, or there are easy instructions you can look up online as to how to read the meter. Also, your energy company probably will tell you. My energy company gave me extremely clear instructions, like I don't understand how anyone can mess that up, even me. You also don't have to stick with the same energy providers that the previous tenants had. You should shop around for the best deals. I changed energy providers, like I don't have the same one as the previous tenant, although the previous one is trying to get me back, obviously predictable. But when I moved in, I made like a spreadsheet which included energy and Wi-Fi providers and their different features I was interested in. Water obviously is covered by the water company for the specific place, like that's more of a geographical thing, like where you are. But that was something that I really like compared to make sure that I was getting the best deal. I actually set up the spreadsheet while I was still hunting for houses, and it helped me get a head start. Setting up a direct debit for each account puts your bills on auto pay, and it means you'll never be late with a payment. I kind of hate chores, so I just did this straight away. So that's all about bills. I can't think of anything else that I have. Oh yeah, obviously just monitor your bills and make sure that they are like kind of in the region that you expect. And let's talk maintenance. So, maintenance, house maintenance, obviously you're in a place by yourself, nobody's going to do maintenance for you. I mean, obviously if you're renting, a lot of big home repairs will be covered by the landlord, like the roof falls in. Landlord has to fix it. This happened to us when I was in Durham. Our house roof started leaking in January, so that was great, and they had to haul out some builders to fix it, and it took like 6 weeks. Anyway, if you're renting, a lot of big home repairs will be covered by the landlord. So know your rights, read your tenants. This is where it comes in, where you've read your tenancy agreement, know your rights, keep a copy if you can. Other maintenance things like repairing devices you've bought. So for example, I bought a toaster, I bought a tumble dryer, I bought a microwave. If any of those break, that's my problem, okay? Like the landlord didn't buy those. Like, that's my problem to fix. Now, the fridge, my fridge came with the apartment, so if that breaks, technically that is the landlord's problem. But anyway, if you have something that breaks yourself, like you need to call a mechanic or know how to fix it, it's not a bad idea actually to have a list of like useful people that you can call if you need something fixing. So for example, my tumble dryer has a warranty. The company I got it from, if it breaks, I call them immediately. Like, I think the number's even on the machine, okay? So I know exactly who to call if I need something fixing that I can't do myself. And it is also helpful to have things that you can use to maintain your house yourself. So one of my first purchases was like, this sounds silly. Well, okay, my first purchase was a bed, but one of my first purchases was like this plunger that I can use to like unblock pipes and stuff, and gloves, obviously, because I'm not doing that with bare hands, in case you have any like blockages. And my dad also got me a tool set, which I used to fix my curtain rods and help build my flat pack drawers when I moved in. So having some like basic household maintenance tools is a really good idea. Yeah, it's boring, but you're an adult now, you're living by yourself, you gotta take care of the boring stuff, I'm sorry. Okay, the next 4 points are more about like the practicalities. We've kind of dealt with the practicalities, but this is like the practicalities, but ones that you wouldn't think of. Okay, and the first one is having a house stocked up with things will save you time and probably money. Okay, for the first month I was just constantly adding to a list of stuff I still needed to get when I noticed I needed it. Like, I made a list of everything I wanted to have when I moved in, like I need to buy curtains and I need to buy bed and bed sheets and like all of that stuff, okay? But then I'd walk around and be like, oh, I don't have, I don't know, I can't remember, let me think. Oh, I don't have a coffee table. That was one. I was like, oh, I have a sofa, and then I sat down, I was gonna put it's like, I don't have a coffee table. So that was one. And you sort of, yeah, kind of have to live in the space a little bit, and also having a house stocked up with food. So when I first moved in, like, I made a really long grocery list of kind of all the food I liked, and I just bought it and sort of ate it, and it lasted me a lot longer than I expected. So, right, kind of brings me on to my next point. You will need to live in the house for a while before you know exactly what it needs. So for the first month, like, I was like adding to this list of decor as well. Like I know I've mentioned that I was adding to a list of practical things, but I was adding to a list of decor. And it sort of helps you understand how to decorate it. When you've been in the space for a while, you kind of know what you want to do, but it's okay if you move in and it's not immediately like fully formed. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right, 2 more. You'll need to make a conscious effort to seek out social interaction. Having your own place is amazing, but you will be alone by default. Now, if you're an introvert like me, that can be heaven, but I still get lonely sometimes, and it is super easy to stay at home all the time, so try and find social things to do as well, either in your home or outside of it. And the great thing about living on your own is you can have people over, okay? You can have people over literally whenever you want, so make the most of that. And finally, it's your space, okay? I know I've sort of kept my excitement under control until this point in the video, but it's your space, okay? You can make it look pretty much however you want, and the freedom of having your own place is amazing. It's awesome, okay? As such, it's also a really special space, so be mindful of who and what you allow into your safe space. Okay, but seriously, living alone is fantastic, and no shade to my roommates and housemates in the past, they've also been wonderful, and I had some amazing times living with them, and if any of them are watching, hi, love you. But yes, living alone is also incredible, and I'm having the time of my life, seriously, living in my first apartment by myself. So, that's 10 things you need to know about living alone. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that, give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye!